So, first is the question, how much time do I have? 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is now very, very interesting for me, maybe not for you. Imagine, they asked me to summarize the day, and in the past 3 hours I didn't understand a word. But I got some training for that. I was lucky to be here already for a couple of days, and so I got the chance to know your beautiful city, and a little bit also of the nearer surroundings. I did most of this exploring alone, but one day I had a charming guide. And here we go into parks, into, I don't know, streets, whatever I had to see. And she kept saying things like, you see, this is a garden, and this garden in the summer has so many flowers, it's beautiful, but you have to use your imagination. So we go to a different place, there's a rose garden, again, in the summer, these beautiful roses, but now you have to use your imagination. And then we come to this fountain. Of course, it's November, there's no water in it. And she says, in summer, I know, I have to use my imagination. So this afternoon, I had to use my imagination, definitely. Ergo had at least English slides that helped a little. The other gentlemen had also Estonian slides. But we are all a family of construction people, so I think I could see what was going on, a little help of Margarita I had, and what I also had expected, I would have at least 1-2 minutes with her now, so she could explain what happened in the last 3 hours. But this minute was not given to me by Enno. I have to sort of recall my visual impressions on the second part of the day. And I got the feeling, the impression, the observations that you in Estonia are moving forward. And that's an important feedback I can give you, especially in, say, technological fields like software and BIM. I'm not sure whether we in Germany are in the same state of progress in these areas. At least we are not further developed, definitely. So this is encouraging for you, continue that way. I was also impressed by that presentation of that European project, about that innovation and digital construction project. If you, as a country or as a group of companies covering the whole cycle or circle of the life cycle of a project, that such a group is able to draw money from Brussels, they must be good, you know. They had to make a presentation, present a good idea, and that is also something to be mentioned. Last presentation of Ergo, what impressed me there or caught my mind was that he started in history, you know, and I think whatever we do nowadays, we have to sort of improve, change. We have seen in the morning these two big international presentations that a change of a company, change of a system, change of procedures is an important matter in our development. And so looking at history, what happened there can also be helpful to determine, say, what changes have happened in the right directions and in the wrong directions, and learn from them in our context, what is right and what is wrong. And that seems to be a basic question of all what we are doing. If we design, again referring to Ergo, if we design, we have a very complex task, maybe one of the most complex tasks in the world. It's even more complex than playing chess. You know, chess, I saw it in the street, it seems to be very popular here, therefore I mentioned this example. playing chess, even the grandmasters, they cannot predict, say, situations further than 10 moves, you know? It's almost impossible. You never know what the other player is really doing. You can expect it or hope it or whatever, but you don't know what he is doing or she. And in design, it seems to me that it is even more complicated. We imagine the individual keys, they are interconnected. That's the word Ergo used, that interrelatedness of everything we think and do in design. It can be represented by you connect some of the keys on the board by flexible strings, and when you move one key, 2 or 3 will also move. You know, that's really something complex, and we are in the middle of this complexity, and that makes it difficult but also interesting. I cannot imagine that I'm in a different world than the construction world, because it's so complex and interesting. So this is my attempt to summarize the Estonian part. Sometimes I have the impression your language is very similar to Finnish, with all these dots on the A's and the U's. So therefore I made this lapsus in language. So I would like to spend a little bit more time, not too much, on the 2 international presentations. I start with Meri, because from my logic of what I would like to tell you, she had a highly interesting slide. She tried to explain to you what is lean construction, and she had this slide. Well, she didn't really give an answer, but she had this slide where there were many terms written that all somehow belong to lean construction: just in time, last planner system, target value design. You saw at least 15 of them. And what I concluded and observed, and that is based on my, meanwhile, 10 years of consulting and teaching in practical life of lean construction. Many of these things, like just in time or BIM, they had existed before the word lean was coined. Yeah? BIM is in the market since 20 years, in various stages of development. Just in time is not a lean construction thing. Other things like line of balance was mentioned by Mehdi, also by Raphael also. You know, that line of balance rhythm thing of the Empire State Building. Trains are running since 1835 in Germany, I think 25 in England. Since that time, they had made the planning, the running of the trains in line of balance diagrams. You know, they showed the distance ran and the time spent. And the rest is a line going up, and that's the velocity. The angle of that line is the velocity. Therefore, these line of balance diagrams are also called velocity diagrams. They are 150 years old, and still they appear under lean. So lean is sort of, if you look at a structure, a wall, a simple wall, there is at least 50, 60, 70% of the stones that make that lean little structure have been existing before lean. So what makes it lean, this wall? Some specific things are specifically lean construction, like the last planner system. The last planner system was developed by, meanwhile, famous people. Many of you will know them. They tried to transfer all these wonderful things that had been observed in the Japanese car manufacturing, like continuous flow, to transfer the advantages of having a continuous flow into construction. And that was not easy. And they had to come up with something different from the original lean, and they came up with the last planner system that is, amongst many other things, able to help to create a continuous flow through better communication, through early bringing in all of the partners, and many other things. some of them were mentioned by Mili, but there are more. So this is a typical lean construction instrument, and maybe the only real typical. The rest was either transferred or adapted into the lean wall, into that lean structure. And we are now in the international community, of course, on the path to do further developments. Maybe we come up finally with a complete structure of lean construction, where BIM is modified to a real sort of a tool that is even more helpful than it is today. And you had this wonderful presentation of Raphael visualizing this and giving you the fantastic examples. And then here I come to my conclusion of my little commentary, the change business. The change of that company in Israel was just amazing. And again, I would like to encourage you to initiate processes like this in all your organizations. Like the university as such is an organization sometimes really backward in terms of modern management. Or your design companies, your architectural firms, your construction companies. Yeah? So be encouraged to what you have heard to do that, and start in small steps. Start learning from others. Change is always learning. If you want to change, you have to learn. If you are not willing to learn, you cannot change. So what did this company, Tidva it was called, no? Tidha. What did this company do? They went to countries where they expected learning effects. They went, I understand, to Norway, to Denmark, to maybe others. And it's nothing wrong with it to copy the good things in the world, you know. Go out or bring people in like Jörg. Jörg had told us in the morning, he brought that gentleman from the UK to teach. But after the first teaching step, there must be action. Without action, you forget everything you might have learned by listening. Like today, I'm sure you took a lot of things with you, and you are taking a lot of things with you. But if you don't do a bold next step, it will dissipate, it will disappear. So this is my message to you. Take all what you have heard. And I tell you, I'm in Lean now for 10 years. I heard again new things for me, or things that sort of speed my mind or encourage me and bring me still forward. So please do that in Estonia. I wish you good luck, and I come back next time in summer to see all these roses blooming without imagination, and then we talk again to each other. Thank you.
No nii, päev on õhtusse jõudnud. Ma tänan kõiki, ennekõike projektimeeskonda, kes selle päeva on nii ilusti korraldanud. Ma tänan kõiki professoreid ja dotsente ja lihtsalt praktikuid, nii nagu Keit meie hulgas. Ja mis ma tahaks öelda? Lisaks sellele teemale, mida siin juba Ergo välja käis, projekteerimise parandamine, kindlasti tuleb mängu veel üks akronüüm, või kuidas professor ütles, IPD, mis tegelikult tähendab seda, et me tulevikus töötaksime rohkem integreeritult, teineteisele mõeldes, ja nii, nagu eile õhtulauas Ergo ütles, et läheks hea meelega tööle ja tuleks hea meelega koju taas pere juurde. Aga mitte nii, nagu on klassikaline projekti juhtimine, mida te kõik väga hästi teate, et lähed hommikul tööle ja mõtled, kurat, miks ma küll peaks siia tulema, keegi mind ei salli siin. Ja ega ma kedagi tegelikult näha ka ei tahaks. Head koduteed, ennekõike tartlastele, käsk on eluga koju jõuda, kohtumiseni projektijuhi päeval number 8 Tallinna Tehnikaülikoolis ja eestvedajad on juba teile täna hommikul näidatud Margarita ja Marleen.